Hello and welcome back to the restaurant show. I am so glad to welcome back to the show Cause, who is the owner of Rosies Coffee Bar and Bakery. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
One of my favorite spots in the area. I love everything you do. The food is amazing, the treats are amazing, and this is a restaurant show first because we have never in the history of the restaurant show had a cookie historian joining us today. How neat is that?
Thank you.
This is Jennifer Hall. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So I can't wait to learn a little bit today. We're talking about cookies from around the world. And looking at all these gorgeous cookies, there's a lot to talk about, but what really makes something a cookie?
So a cookie, by definition, is historically a kind of a flat, short, sweet cake, handheld. They can be crispy or nowadays chewy also. So that's kind of the basic requirements for a cookie.
Wow, I didn't even know, I never really thought about it, what the requirements were to be a cookie. Do they go to cookie school? No, just kidding. But let's talk a little bit too about when you said back in the day or nowadays, so there's been some evolution of the cookie.
Yes.
When did we see first the cookie in history?
So cookies originated in Persia in the 7th century. So they've been around for a while.
Yes.
That actually coincides with the same time that humans started cultivating sugar.
Well, isn't
makes
that?
sense.
That
Right.
makes perfect sense.
So
yes.
the cookie then traveled from the Middle East to Europe, initially through the invasion of Spain by Muslims. And then as trade routes continued to open up with the Crusades that were about 200 years later, then we really see the cookie moving into Europe. By the Renaissance, in the 14th century, we had cookbooks with tons of cookie recipes and you could buy them on the street. So that's how we got them moved throughout the world.
Yes, I'm picturing a cookie with its little knapsack moving to Europe. Is that what happened?
Right.
No, probably not.
Not exactly. But they, in America, you know, they came with the colonists. We didn't actually have our first written American cookbook until 1796. And so that's the first time we have like an actual American cookie recipe.
And you know what's interesting about that is it is so ingrained now in our American traditions, especially when we talk about Christmas. So how did that really come to be? I mean, we cut our cookies, we decorate our cookies. That's a big part of our sort of family tradition these days.
Yeah, so cookies really became a holiday thing because they have a really long shelf life generally, especially the older styles of cookies. They have sugar, which is a natural preservative. They tend to be especially the really old-fashioned types of cookies, something like the almond crescents, they're a dry cookie. They're still really nice and tender because they have a high butterfat content, but the dryness helps prevent any microorganisms that would cause spoilage to grow. So it's something that you could make a whole bunch of cookies, and then throughout the holiday season, whenever you had visitors stopping by for a visit, you had something prepared that you could serve to people, which you can't do with something like a pie or a cake. And in fact, some of the recipes, like that very first American cookie recipe, the author of the cookbook notes that if you stored it in an earthen crock in your cool, dry cellar, that they would reach their peak of tastiness in 6 months.
Really?
Yes. So
better with age.
Yes. And, you know, of course, modern day cookies, they don't need that kind of ripening time. Cookies also make a great food that travels. So it also, when you were going to visit at somebody's house, you could easily take cookies along as a gift.
I was just gonna say, this reminds me, excuse me, of the platters that we would have over the holidays where everybody's sort of exchanging their version of their traditional family cookie, and then it becomes this great hodgepodge of cookies. This is a lot better than the ones we ever handed out, but you get the idea. Now, one of the things we're gonna do today is talk a little bit about making a cookie platter centerpiece.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It is. We're so excited to show you this. So you just take, so Jennifer's going to do one. So you don't have to be like this, you know, have all this cake decorating equipment. No. So Jennifer's going to do one with just a spatula, and I'll do one with the pastry tip. Let's see. Can we see? And so you just grab like some extra cookies, try and go, you know, the size from big to small.
Right.
And we're just going to do a little squirt of frosting. Just basically butter and powdered sugar. Put a little sprinkle. Do the next one on there.
So you got the fancy tool, but
Yes.
you said Jennifer's over there doing just kind of the old-fashioned way, like I might be doing at home.
Yes, because not everybody will have all these, you know, if you have this kind of stuff, that's great. And then we have our little ball there.
This is the tastiest centerpiece you'll ever see.
This is your cookie centerpiece.
Cute, and you can
Put
just
on your
set it
cookie
right
platter.
on top even. We'll see, does she balance?
Yes.
She does.
And it's also-
not your
Yes.
first time.
This would be a little, you know, if you're patient and don't mind the mess, you can, it's just sort of a little thing that you can have kids do these too.
I was just thinking that, what a great thing. I've got little toddlers. There she goes, it's okay, it'll still be tasty.
So what a little trick that you can do is let it set up in the fridge.
Oh, sure.
And then
we didn't have time for that today. This one's a little
one.
more stable.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah.
been in the fridge.
Here's our little ball.
Excellent. Now, of course, you can make your own cookies at home. That's one of the things we love to do this time of year. If you are not necessarily a great baker, have no fear. Rosie's Coffee Bar and Bakery has got your back.
We have lots of cookies at the bakery.
Yes.
Yes.
Many things at the bakery too. Oh my gosh, the treats you guys have been producing just keep getting more and more fabulous. I can't believe it. You gotta go, just even look at them. They're incredible.
Thank you.
So it's really cool what you guys are doing. And I gotta say, you have one of the best menus in town. The food is outstanding and it's such a great
you.
spot to go sit and just enjoy yourself.
And we've recently changed the menu a little bit, added some avocado. That's the new ingredient that everyone loves, and it's been going over really great.
It's all the rage.
Yep.
Avocado. It's the
Yes.
it. It's the it.
It
Yeah.
is. We don't
It
have
factor.
an avocado cookie though.
Well, not yet. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, well you guys are wonderful. Oh my gosh, I want to mention too, if you're watching this before, Sunday, Santa's coming. So you'll have Mr. and Mrs. Claus and there's a charitable giveaway.
This Sunday, and it's going to be a fundraiser for Santa's Without Chimneys, which does Christmas for homeless children in Madison.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So you can eat delicious cookies and give back. Just feel good all around.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Restaurant Show after the break.